Switchbot is back with yet another new retrofit device for your house, this time taking the knowledge that they learned from their ever popular Switchbot curtains and applying that to a brand new device that can automate your tilt blinds in literally just a matter of minutes. Let's take a look at the hardware, how it works and how it integrates with other platforms like Home Assistant, HomeKit, Amazon, Google Home and SmartThings in this review of the Switchbot Blind Tilt. Full transparency, as always, Switchbot did send me the Blind Tilt for me to review. Now, the Blind Tilt is a pretty unique and interesting device actually, really unlike anything else I've seen before in terms of how it works. So we've seen another device in the past that also works with tilt blinds, the Soma Tilt 2, which up until the Switchbot was really the only device I'd seen so far that works with that style of blinds. But both the Soma and the Switchbot work in very different ways. The Soma uses an externally mounted motor that has a flexible rod to turn your blind, whereas the Switchbot mounts directly onto the blind itself with a motor attaching directly onto the blind rod to operate it. The Switchbot Blind Tilt has a taller and thinner unit where the battery and the motor is inside of the main housing, and then off to one side it has this sort of cylindrical pass-through for the rod to go into, which if you open the little cover, you will see that there is a little cog inside, which is what actually grips onto and turns the rod. On the top of the unit is a USB-C plug where the solar panel plugs into to keep the unit charged, which is included in the box by default, which I really do love to see. Good job there, Switchbot. And then on the underside is a pair and a reset button. The Blind Tilt uses Bluetooth just like the Switchbot curtain and most of the other Switchbot products, which I think is a totally fine application for a device like this, and there is no official battery life specs that I could see, but with the included solar panel you shouldn't need to worry about charging ever, at least that's the theory. Setup is pretty straightforward and can be done in literally a matter of minutes. They really do a very good job of simplifying the setup. So the way this works is that the Switchbot Blind Tilt slips over your wand, but because everyone has a different wand size and length and thickness, there is different wand adapters in the box for small, medium, large and extra large wands, so that you know it can really get a good firm grip of your wand. So you can use the included measuring tape to measure your wand and find out the right size, and as you can see my wand is extra large. So I wrap the extra large size around my wand at the appropriate height, then slide the cog cover over the wand so it's nice and snug. Then slip the Blind Tilt around the adapter and click it into place. Then you'll want to plug in the USB-C cable from the solar panel, lock it in place and then stick the cable loop of the solar panel to the top of your blind. This is important so that the Blind Tilt stays secure in place because you know you don't want it to slip off your wand. Then it's a simple case of mounting the solar panel to your window and you can now set it up with the app. The app will take you through calibrating the full range of the blinds and then you are pretty much good to go. You really can't go wrong with the setup process. The overall aesthetic and look of the device for me I feel is pretty good. I don't personally find it that obtrusive, particularly for a retrofit device, although that will depend on the colour of your blinds I guess. If you have black blinds then the white of the Switchbot is probably going to stand out a little bit more than it does against my lighter colour. And I also like that you're not sticking something to the wall where you are less likely to do any damage, like ripping paint off the wall from the double-sided tape for example. The Switchbot feels like it could be easily removed with minimal effort, which I do appreciate. Having the solar panel included by default is also huge. Let's take a look at the Switchbot app first before we discuss some of the other ecosystems. Using the Switchbot app is a fairly straightforward affair. It's clean, works well and is easy to use. On the main page is a slider with quick close down, close up and fully open actions, and you can even create your own customized actions with your own positions. Most of you will probably want to use some sort of schedule with your blinds, which you can also set up in the Switchbot app, either through a light sensing schedule or a time-based schedule. The light level schedule is read from the light sensor on the solar panel and lets you automatically open or close the blinds when the light level gets to a certain threshold, much like the Switchbot curtains do. This is a great feature as you can have them close automatically when it gets dark and then open up again in the morning, or maybe vice versa. Close the blinds when it gets too sunny and too hot and then open them up again when it's darker and colder. I would like to be able to see the current light level reading You can view the graph of the last 24 hours, but it would be cool to just have a bit of information somewhere in the settings that told you the current real-time level so that you know what to use in the schedule. Time schedules are pretty straightforward. Basically just pop in the time that you want the automation to run, set the open or close percentage, and you are good to go. Again, very useful if you have set schedules you maybe wake up at or go to sleep at, and it's good that you can also have different schedules for different days of the week. If you dig into the settings, you'll find there is a performance mode and a quiet mode, which you can listen to right now. Honestly, I was pretty surprised by the noise level of even the performance mode on the Switchbot Blind. The Switchbot curtains, for example, give off this high-pitched scream, but the Blind Tilt really isn't that noticeable at all and is much quieter. And the motor is pretty strong too, at least on performance mode. These blinds that I have aren't the smoothest to operate and can get quite sticky at some places, and I actually thought they might give the Switchbot a bit of a hard time, but no, the Switchbot just powers through on performance mode. And on quiet mode, it did get stuck a few times, but smoother blinds would probably have zero issues. In terms of other smart home platforms, the Blind Tilt does work with Amazon, Google Home and SmartThings, assuming that you have the Switchbot hub, and they can all be used to control the blinds directly. Unfortunately, no HomeKit or Home Assistant support on launch either, which is a bit disappointing. I'm sure we will see Home Assistant get support at some point over the coming months, but I really wish Switchbot would start delivering support for these platforms on launch. With the recent improvements to Bluetooth, they have the opportunity to tap into much more users, which I think they are missing out on, and no HomeKit support is a real shame too. If they made the hub HomeKit compatible directly, that would pretty much solve all of the issues and kill two birds with one stone, but unfortunately that is not here yet. Although we have seen some rumours of a potential HomeKit upgrade for the Switchbot Hub Mini, which would be a huge benefit for both HomeKit users and Home Assistant users too. Finally, what about price? So weirdly, Switchbot decided to launch the Blind Tilt as a Kickstarter for some reason. Not really sure why they would be doing that, given that they are a well-established company at this point with many products under their belt, and also because the crowdfunding goal is so low, so they don't actually need any of the funding. Really no idea why they decided to crowdfund for this particular product, but that is what they have done. Starting price during the Kickstarter is $49 US, which is actually a pretty insane deal for the full blind setup with the included solar panel. And after the Kickstarter ends, it looks like it will go up to $69 US, which even at that price I feel is pretty nice for everything that's included. That's pretty much half the price of the Soma Tilt 2. And if you have quite a few different blinds you want to do, then there is some good discounts for multi-buys if you want to get in on the Kickstarter also. All in all, this is a familiar experience to the Switchbot Lock that we looked at a few weeks ago. Excellent hardware and price point, let down only by lacking external platform support in HomeKit and Home Assistant. If you're using one of these supported platforms and you're looking for an inexpensive way to control some blinds, these are definitely the best option out there currently for the money, no doubt about that. But if you're using HomeKit or Home Assistant, you're going to need to wait a little bit longer for these to be the undisputed king. Come on Switchbot, let's make it happen. But what do you guys think about the Switchbot Blind Tilt? Are you a fan of the unique design, and what do you think about the feature set and also price point? Let me know down in the comments. Anyways, that's about going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found it useful. If you did, then make sure to drop this video a like and get subscribed if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video.